Modern homes today are bigger and more open, but in a lot of ways, they actually function worse. Somewhere along the way, we stripped out architectural details, practical spaces, and storage that quietly made daily life easier. In this video, I'm breaking down overlooked home features that used to be the standard, why they work so well, and why bringing them back could make modern homes far more comfortable and functional again. If you go into most modern homes today, you'll probably find mops leaning against walls, vacuums out in the open, and cleaning products crammed under the sink. It is messy and is a poor solution for something that is part of everyday life. But this wasn't always the case. In older homes, especially around the 1950s, the broom closet was a standard feature. It was typically about 18 inches wide and 16 inches deep, just enough space to properly store mops, brooms, and cleaning supplies in one dedicated spot. And that is the key idea here. Cleaning tools had a home. They weren't scattered, hidden, or constantly in the way. Everything lived in one contained space designed specifically for that purpose. I genuinely think the broom closet is something we should bring back, but upgrade it for how we live now. Adding a power outlet inside makes it perfect for modern cordless vacuums and mops that needs charging. And also basic ventilation, like a louvered door or small vent, which helps prevent damp smells and mold building up over time. I've even seen broom closets with an open bottom to accommodate robot vacuum cleaners, which is a great example of adapting the idea for modern homes. The broom closet is a small feature, but it quietly removes a lot of friction from daily life. And that's really the theme you'll see again and again in this video. Older homes often had linen closets located in a central part of the house, like a hallway or upstairs landing, or somewhere near the laundry or bathroom for easy access. They created one central place for towels, sheets, blankets, and extra bedding. But new builds today often remove them to save a little bit of square footage. If your home doesn't have a linen closet, there are plenty of ways to add that storage back in. That might be a built-in cabinet along a hallway, carving out space near the laundry, or using a tall freestanding cupboard in a central location. In smaller or tighter homes, it can also work well to use awkward or underused spaces, like a hallway nook or the area under the stairs. What really makes linen closet work is how it's designed. Slider shelves or breathable storage help linen stay fresh, and simple labels make it easy to find what you need. When it's done well, a linen closet is like a backstage manager of the house. It keeps the rest of the home tidy, and everyone knows exactly where towels and bedding go, which makes everyday routines noticeably easier. Broom and linen closets sound simple, but whether they work comes down to planning. This is where a good floor planning tool really matters, and today's sponsor is HomeDecor, which I've been using for a while now. HomeDecor is a fully web-based CAD platform built for interior designers and architects, but I genuinely think it's one of the more approachable tools out there if you're planning your own home as well. What I personally like about Rayon is that it replaces a whole stack of tools I used to jump between. I can work on proper floor plans, elevations, millwork details, mood boards, and schedules, all inside one workspace. It feels cohesive instead of fragmented, which makes a big difference when you're designing a home. Their AI tools are also very useful. You can generate custom furniture blocks from an image or a text prompt, turn sections into axonometric views, or quickly visualize how a space might come together. They also have a large built-in CAD block library with over 10,000 blocks, so you're not constantly redrawing common elements. And if you're working with someone else, collaboration happens directly inside the file. You can comment, make changes, and keep everything in one shared place, which is far easier than sending screenshots back and forth. Overall, HomeDecor just removes a lot of friction from the planning stage. If you want to try it out, you can use the link in the description to try HomeDecor for free. Thanks to HomeDecor for sponsoring this video. Modern kitchens usually run into two big problems. The first is storage. Deep cabinets mean many items get pushed to the back, forgotten about, and eventually wasted. The second problem is mess. Open concept kitchens look great, but they leave nowhere to hide the chaos that comes with cooking and entertaining. That is where a dedicated secondary space makes a huge difference. Traditionally, homes had walk-in pantries for food storage and butler's pantries as a buffer between the kitchen and dining room. Today, these are often combined into what's called a working pantry or scullery, and it works because it does two important jobs. On the food side, everything's visible at a glance, which makes buying in bulk, organizing, and meal planning far easier. On the functional side, it becomes a built-in mess zone. You can move prep work, dirty platters, and appliances out of sight while keeping the main kitchen calm and presentable. It is also the ideal place for an appliance garage. Air fryers, toasters, coffee machines, all plugged in and ready to go, without taking over your main bench tops. Some homes even add a small grocery door from the garage straight into the pantry, so heavy bags can be passed through without walking them across the house. It is a small detail, but it removes friction from everyday routines, which is exactly why this type of space worked so well historically. If this video is making you realize how many small things modern homes are missing, I have a free designer home guide plus 45-point checklist that helps you step back and look at your home more clearly. It helps you spot the common design mistakes that quietly affect how a home feels. Mudrooms are one of those spaces you don't think you need, until you experience one and realize what you've been missing. A mudroom is essentially a buffer zone between the outside world and the rest of your home. It is usually located at a side entrance or off the garage, and its entire job is to stop mess at the door. Wet shoes, muddy boots, backpacks, coats, all of that gets dealt with here instead of spreading into the living areas. This becomes especially important if you live somewhere with rain, snow, or real exposure to the outdoors like in the bushland, forested settings, or even near the beach. One smart move, and this is my personal opinion, is combining the mudroom with the laundry and placing it towards the side of the house. Many new builds put the laundry right in the middle of the house, often near bedrooms for convenience, but separating it actually makes daily life easier. You keep noisy machines and messy piles away from spaces meant for rest, and that separation matters more than people realize. Mudrooms are also incredibly pet-friendly. They're the ideal spot for a dog wash station or cat litter box, all the unglamorous parts of pet ownership. One thing to get right though is ventilation. A proper exhaust fan is non-negotiable. Without it, the room will smell and get moldy. Now onto overlooked architectural features, starting with transom windows. Transom windows are small horizontal windows placed high on a wall, often above doors, but sometimes above interior openings or above exterior windows. They used to be far more common than they are today. The first job is light. They allow natural light to travel deeper into the home, borrowing light from hallways or adjacent rooms and filtering it into darker spaces like bedrooms or bathrooms without sacrificing privacy, since they sit above eye level. But the real magic is airflow. Warm air rises, so when a transom window is open, that warm air naturally escapes, allowing cooler air to circulate throughout the space. You get ventilation without needing to open the main door or window, which is especially useful in warmer climates. What makes transom windows great is that they improve light and airflow passively, through placement and design alone. But beyond function, they also look good. Transom windows add instant architectural character and make homes feel taller and lighter. The one thing to keep in mind is sound. If you install operable transoms near bedrooms, noise can travel more easily between spaces. Fixed transoms solve that issue while still giving you the benefit of borrowed light. Another feature you rarely see in modern homes is the vestibule. You see them all over older brownstones and row houses in New York, townhouses in the UK, and classic Federations and Edwardian homes in places like Sydney and Melbourne, but less often in new builds. A vestibule is basically a small buffer space just inside the front door. Think of it like an airlock for your house. You open the front door, step inside, and then there's a second door before you enter the main living space. From a comfort and energy perspective, it is incredibly effective. In colder weather, you're not flooding the entire house with cold air every time the door opens. In warmer climates, it helps keep cooled air inside. That small in-between space acts as a thermal buffer, which makes the home easier to heat and cool overall. There's also a privacy and security benefit. Historically, you could answer the door without giving strangers a full view into your home. And acoustically, 2 doors block street noise far better than one. But what people often overlook is the psychological effect. A vestibule creates a moment of pause. You don't walk straight from street noise and traffic into your living room. You have a moment to drop your keys, take off your shoes, and mentally switch into home mode. Modern open-plan homes tend to skip this entirely, which is why they often feel less private and oddly stressful right at the entry. Even if you don't have space for a full vestibule, Creating a clear entry pause point makes a noticeable difference in how a home feels. If you don't have room for the vestibule, a hall tree or simple entryway bench is a great alternative. One of the easiest ways to tell if a home was designed for real life is how it handles the front door. And most modern homes completely miss this. That is where a proper entryway setup comes in. If you've ever owned one of those flimsy, big box coat racks, you already know they don't work. They don't hold much and never actually solve the mess. The problem isn't the rack, but the fact that there's no system. A well-designed hall tree or entryway bench creates a system. You get sturdy hooks, a bench so you can sit to put shoes on or take them off, and storage for bags, boots, backpacks. This works because it supports routine. You walk in, sit down, take off your shoes, and hang up your coat. Dirty footwear and clutter are contained, and the entryway doesn't turn into a dumping ground. There's also a bit of psychology here. Clutter always lands on the first flat surface you see when you walk in. So if you don't create the proper drop zone at the door, that role gets taken over probably by your kitchen island. That is also where an entry console comes in. A simple console or surface gives you a dedicated place to dump keys, wallets, sunglasses, and everyday carry. The best part is that you don't need expensive custom millwork to make this work. We actually built ours using IKEA flat packs. With a bit of planning, it became a full entry wardrobe with shoe storage, mail storage, and hooks that look built-in but cost a fraction of the price. If visualizing ideas like this in your own home feels tricky, I've built a tool called Room Visualizer AI. You can upload a photo of your actual space and test things like colors, materials, furniture, and overall vibe so you can see how different ideas might come together in your home before buying anything. You can check it out using the QR code here or via the link below. This is a feature that has quietly disappeared. A breakfast nook is usually a small corner of the kitchen with built-in bench seating and a table. And compare that to a large kitchen island, it does something really important. It brings people closer together. Instead of perching on stools, you're sitting closer face to face. It feels more relaxed and more personal, and it naturally becomes the default gathering spot. Breakfast in the morning, homework in the afternoon, snacks with kids after school. On your own, it's a great place for a coffee and a book. As a couple, it's an easy place to sit and talk. Built-in benches make these spaces even more effective. They encourage you to linger and often include hidden storage underneath, which is especially useful in homes where space is tight. There's also a broader sociology idea at play here. People talk a lot about third places, spaces that bring people together outside of work or home. A breakfast nook creates that same feeling inside the house. You sit down, slow down, and stay a little longer. Moving into social connection, another feature that's quietly disappeared is the formal dining room. This might be controversial, but I think it's something worth bringing back, not for hosting fancy dinner parties, but for family connection. Of course, in smaller homes, that is not always practical, but if space isn't an issue, it is worth considering. A dedicated dining space creates one place where people actually sit down together, without a TV in the background. It is a space designed for food, conversation, and being present, which sounds simple, but is surprisingly rare in modern homes and modern lives. Even if it's only used twice a week, that ritual matters. In open-plan homes, it is far easier for everyone to eat separately, at the counter, on the couch, or at the table watching TV and scrolling phones. Even if you're technically together, it feels like you're eating alone. I remember growing up, dinner was always a family moment for us. We sat at the table, no devices allowed, and conversation was the focus. And today, you can really see the contrast. So many kids are now being spoon-fed while glued to a screen, and that turns into teenagers and eventually adults who sit at a table scrolling on their phones. A formal dining room can act as a physical boundary to that kind of digital distraction. But if you don't dine often enough to justify a room dedicated to just dining, there are flexible ways to approach it. Many people now design dining libraries, basically a table with bookshelves along the walls, so the space works during the day and transforms at night. The last feature I want to talk about is a proper front porch. And I don't mean a tiny concrete stoop that barely fits a doormat. I mean a porch that is 8 to 10 feet deep with space to actually sit on. In older homes, front porches were genuinely functional. That is where life happened. You could sit there and watch your kids, and neighbors could stop to chat as they walk by. You weren't isolated inside your house. You were part of the neighborhood. Compare that to how homes in modern neighborhoods are designed today. People drive straight into the garage, shut the door, and disappear inside. We have higher fences, fewer front-facing spaces, and far fewer chances for casual interaction. And then we wonder why neighborhoods feel disconnected. A front porch lowers the barrier to connection. It is private property, but socially public. You can say hello or wave or chat without committing to inviting someone inside, which completely lowers the barrier to connection. There's also a mental health benefit. Environmental psychology talks about soft fascination. Things like watching rain, people walk by, or cars passing. The gentle low-level stimulation helps reduce stress and mental fatigue, and a front porch creates space for exactly that. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video on 9 things that make your home look dated, and this video on the secret sauce to any well-designed home. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.